Here we are with our first game in the Firestorm Sicily campaign. Let's take a look at the armies. Starting with the Allies, Bree will be playing a Canadian rifle company. We've got HQ of 2 SMLD rifle teams, 3 rifle platoons. We're proxying the Piats for boys anti-tank rifles at the moment, as I haven't finished the actual boys models. A platoon of 4 Vickers medium machine guns, a platoon of 6 3-inch mortars, a platoon of 3 6-pounders, and then that lone team is a naval shore party spotting bombardments for, what ship was that, honey?
The Algonquin.
The HMCS Algonquin, a Canadian destroyer. We're not sure if that actually served in Sicily, but Bree has a personal connection. I believe your grandfather served on that ship during the Second World War.
Ship, I believe.
So we're using a picture of it to represent the naval gunfire support from a destroyer off coast. And then for the Italians, we have a coastal defense company with 3 platoons of coastal defense, which are 9 rifle teams, 3 barbed wire entrenchment markers, these things, and 2 minefield markers each. Then we have 2 Breda machine gun platoons with 3 Bredas each, 81mm mortar platoon of 3 mortars, assault mortar platoons, so light mortars of 3 mortars, 47mm anti-tank guns, the HQ of the company, of course, these 2 guys here, and then 100mm gun nests. So these are individual guns set up as nests. Firing artillery bombardments is 1 gun each. And those are the forces. So let's take a quick look at the table and explain what's going on. And here we are deployed. So, first things first, I set up my obstacles, 3 barbed wire, and the 2 minefield. Then Bree chose where she put her objectives. She placed one on that hill there. And where's the other one, honey?
Right here.
Oh, in the courtyard of that building, there behind the ruined monastery. Then the defender chose to hold units in reserve. I put 2 of my coastal defense rifle platoons in reserve. They will come on delayed 3rd turn, or hopefully start on 3rd turn. Then I deployed. So we've got the 1 deployed coastal defense platoon, who gave me those obstacles. Right there, sorry. We have the Breda machine gun platoon there, and the other one there. They actually did upgrade on their die roll. Not that their stats got appreciably better, but hey, every little bit helps. Then we deployed the 81mm mortars there. 47mm anti-tank guns, the assault mortars, and each of the gun nests just kind of spread out across the back of the beach, and that one also did upgrade. I then spotted into my artillery. I forgot to put the 81mm mortar down, but it's supposed to be down here at the road, but we've got each of the 100mm guns sighted in along the beach. Then, for her first wave, Bree selected 50% of her force. That was 3 rifle platoons, her headquarters, and the naval shore party. They will start on the beach on the first wave. So we're going to move into Allied turn 1 and see what happens. Okay, so turn 1 movement step for the British/Canadians. They've disembarked from their boats. So we've got 1 platoon here with the shore party for the naval gunfire, 2 platoon in the formation command teams, and 3 platoon over on the right flank. We're going to move into the shooting step now. Okay, so the first platoon was able to successfully take out a dug-in Breda machine gun. Pretty good roll on there. They unfortunately did not hit their targets, and that platoon did hit, but I saved the 1 hit. So we are going to move into the Italian turn 1, and a heck of a lot of attempts to unpin on Reluctant. Yay! Reluctant.
Super.
We'll be right back. And we completely forgot to roll to see if the ships refloated after dropping off their dudes, so we just rolled it now, and those 2 did, whereas the one in the middle unfortunately stayed So, moving now on to the Italian, turn 1. Okay, so just checking the sheet, they actually have a separate rally rating, which is 4+, for determined for coastal defense. So not as bad, but still pretty shite. So we'll start with the coastal defense infantry platoon on a 4+, with the commander reroll because they're right next to them. They stay pinned. The Breda, it does unpin. They are still going to need a last stand test though because they are down to 2 infantry teams. That Breda team, with the upgraded skill, unpins.
I'll get the marker for you.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome, my dear.
The assault mortars in behind there in the courtyard. They stay pinned. The 47 millimeters, they unpin. The 81 millimeter stays pinned. And then the 100 millimeters, he unpins. He stays pinned, so now we'll put that on him. This one stays pinned, and that last one stays pinned. And I think that's everybody. So I got 2 unpinned units. Yay. Moving on. And then, because I forgot, even though I literally just said I had to do it, a last stand test on a 5+ on that machine gun platoon with a commander reroll because they're right next to it. Getting a 5.
Yay!
Thankfully. So they stick around, which is good because I really need them right now. Now we're going to move into the Italian movement step, and I'm probably not going to move anything, so we'll be right back. Yeah, I'm not going to move anything. Yeah. Anyways, so we're going to check line of sight and the night fighting stuff, and then we'll be back with the results of the die rolls. Alright, in a surprisingly effective shooting phase, I managed to essentially kill that, about 50%, and pin them down. So I killed 3 of the rifle platoons and the boys anti-tank rifle. With the combined fire of these Bredas and this rifle platoon here. I attempted to fire the pinned down Bredas in the monastery into the the Canadian rifle platoon on the beach here, hitting but failing to kill. And otherwise everything else. Oh, and I also attempted to rearrange in this battery here, this nest on here, but unfortunately with the poor skill of the gun and the fact that we're night fighting, I was unable to range it in. So we're going to move into Canadian turn 2.
Okay.
Okay, so the starting step for the Canadians, we've got a single unpinned chest. Wow. Test. There we go. So with the Canadian formation card, it gives them a better rally of 3+ rather than the Bulldog rule, which is counterattack. So we're going to go ahead, roll 3+. They unpin.
Yay.
And we're going to move into the movement step. Bree will be bringing on the mortars and machine guns, so we will select where they're going and then roll for their drift. We'll be right back. All right, honey, take us through your movement step.
All right, so first rifle ran up onto top of the hill, or top of the rock rather, to try and pin back down your machine guns and then possibly assault. The naval
Shore party?
Thank you. I was going to say ground party.
Close enough.
Same thing. Staying stationary to hopefully do a naval bombardment. The second rifle also kind of moved forward with the same intentions to try and pin down your second machine guns.
That's the coastal platoon. Huh?
Coastal platoon.
Oh.
There we go. To pin down your coastal platoon and then maybe assault. And much the same over here. Ran forward as much as they could, avoiding the minefields. Hopefully to assault.
Yep. Going to try and clear out that ruined monastery of Italians. So
we're going to see how it goes.
We'll move into shooting.
Oh, and I rolled to try and bring
yes.
the ship back, and he is still stuck in the sand.
Oh, and speaking of ships, the machine gun platoon and the mortar platoon ships also failed to land, so they are staying in the surf
Yep.
until next turn.
Yep.
So, let's see how the shooting goes. Okay, so not the most successful shooting phase, unfortunately.
No.
Take us through it, huh? So we started here.
Yep. First rifles shot into the machine guns.
You got a hit with a rifle team, and no, you only got a hit with a mortar team.
Yes.
But I
and you
unfortunately saved it. Over there, I think you also only got hit with a mortar team, which you did kill the one team there.
Splat somebody. Yep.
Over there.
Yep.
You hit twice.
Hit once and you saved it.
I thought you hit twice.
You're right. I hit twice.
Yeah, because it was mortar and a rifle.
It was a mortar
team.
and a rifle, and you still saved it.
All right. And then we attempted to range in. Well, we did range in the naval gunfire.
Mm-hmm.
The Algonquin over there in the horizon. Ranged in there on the third attempt with night fighting. It was a little harder, needing a 6. Finally got it. Only hit them. Unfortunately, did not kill them.
Yep.
But it is ranged in now for repeat bombardment next turn.
Yep.
So we're going to attempt some assaults, potentially.
Yep.
And then move on to the next turn. Okay, so some excellent assaults, very successful. As you can see there, 2 platoon was able to clear out that part of the rifle platoon there and push them back. Thankfully, most of the platoon didn't need to move as they were outside of 6 inches away, so my coastal platoon is still mostly dug in. And then over there, though, they killed on the charge in. My defensive fire killed 1 team, and the assaulters killed 2, pushing me way the hell back. Forcing a last stand test on them. Mm-hmm. So, we are going to move into the next Italian turn. Alright, so start of Italian starting step. We got some more units to try and unpin. We're going to start with this 100mm here on 4+. It unpins. 81mm mortars. Don't unpin. The rifle platoon. Re-rolling because of the company commanders. They finally unpin. That 100mm stays pinned. That 100mm stays pinned. The assault mortars stay pinned. And the last Beretta stays pinned. And then the last stand test on him on a 5+. And he runs away.
Okay.
And I think that was all the stuff I needed to try to unpin and do motivation for. So we're going to move into the movement step. So my movement step, I simply move these guys back a little bit so that they wouldn't be blocking the line of sight from these guys into the Canadian platoon there. Mm-hmm. On to shooting. Alright, so a bit better of a shooting phase for the Italians. We started with some bombardments. So, gun battery B here, repeat bombardmented on the point, only hitting the 2 command teams but killing 1. Gun battery A, who I've taken away as A, successfully finally ranged in, third attempt there, dropping some shells, killing 1 team but pinning them down. Mm-hmm. The rifle teams then poured some fire into them as well. Didn't kill anything, but you know, it was worth a try. The 2 Beretta machine guns here, opened fire on them, killing 1 team, unfortunately not pinning them down. That 100mm direct fired into the platoon on the roadway, unfortunately missing. And the assault mortars, first time ever using them, they fired, getting 3 hits and killing the boys' anti-tank rifle. So, slowly whittling you down. Unfortunately, I can't stop you because you can just send in the next wave. But you know, if I can hold out for like 5 more turns, I can win. So, moving on to starting step Canadians, turn 3.
I mean, you do get your reserve starting this next turn.
Yeah, well, we've all seen how I roll dice. So.
Yeah. All right, turn 3 Canadians.
All right, start of the third turn. We are going to roll to see if it's dawn. It becomes dawn if you roll a 5+ on 1 die.
Nope.
No,
still
so
night.
we still have the cover of night. So moving on to the motivation step, where we're going to attempt to unpin that platoon on a 3+ because they're Canadian.
Yep.
And we get some awesome noise in the background, but they unpin. So we're going to move into the movement step. Take us through, hon.
Okay, so these guys just kind of shuffled around a little bit to bring up the line a little bit after losing their one guy. They dismounted from their boat and moved up to help support. My mortars dismounted and came kind of trying to get a little bit around. I think they're still kind of under it.
That mortar is still pinned, so.
True. Second platoon moved up, partially occupying a damaged house, try and move towards that objective. And third platoon also moved up, occupying the damaged church, trying to also take the same objective.
Okay. So moving on to shooting.
Yep.
Alright, so Canadian shooting step, rather unfortunately not overly successful. Poured fire from both of those platoons into... Sorry. That rifle platoon shot into the Bredas, unfortunately not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
That rifle platoon shot into the infantry, hitting but failing to kill. That rifle platoon shot across here as well, hitting but still failing to kill. And that rifle platoon in the monastery shot my assault mortars, getting a couple of hits, but again, sadly because of bulletproof cover, failing to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to contemplate some assaults and be right back. So we were joined by Wild General Patton. He's here to oversee the British landings. So, assault phase. So we charged into contact with both the 100mm nest and the assault mortars. Didn't kill any... Well, you killed one of the mortars.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to test a counterattack. The nest obviously failed because it's gone. My mortars did counterattack. They didn't kill anybody. But the Canadians failed to do their subsequent counterattack and fell back. So we are still holding the point.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a very good position, though, as they will be doing a last stand test on the following turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you opted not to charge anywhere else. So we are going to move into Italian starting step, turn 3, and maybe get some reserves.
We'll see.
Alright, I'm going to start with my pins in my starting step. I have the 81mm still pinned. They're finally unpinned. 100mm nest stays pinned. And the assault mortars, they finally unpin as well. If you could pass me that token, please, Patton. Thank you, General. So we're going to do a last stand test now on the mortars. Their last stand rating, I forgot to check before we started, is... typically shit. But they stick around with a 5+, so that's huge.
A miracle.
And then we're going to do my reserve roll. And I'll get a unit. Perfect. All right, maybe the Italians can pull this off.
We'll see.
On to movement. Okay, so for movement, I chose a coastal defense rifle platoon for my reserves because that's the only option I have, and they dashed on and then attempted to follow me, and we could see how well that went. So, everything else is going to remain stationary to attempt to stem the tide of Canadians.
Okay.
Moving on to shooting. Okay, so for the shooting phase, I started with my batteries, and then my mortars, and then the rifles. So, Battery A was able to successfully kill a single rifle team, pinning them down. We actually had to put down a token.
Mm-hmm.
Battery B bombarded, and unfortunately was unable to actually kill anything, because it didn't hit because of the rerolls. The 81mm repeat bombardmented on their point there, killing a couple of mortar teams and pinning them. The assault mortars, now that they're finally unpinned, got their full 6 shots each into the dudes in the monasteries, hitting 1 out of 12 shots and failing to do any appreciable damage. And then my rifles attempted to shoot into the Canadian platoon here, failing to do any damage. And then my machine guns, likewise, hit a bunch of times, not enough to pin, but didn't kill anybody. So, I'm obviously not going to assault, because that would be suicidal.
Yep.
On to Canadian turn 4. Alright, we're we're smart. We rolled and then forgot that we were supposed to film it. So we rolled for daytime, and it is very much dawn now. So no more night fighting. On to Canadian starting step. Starting step, Canada. What are we doing?
Gotta do some unpins. Start with these guys.
Okay. They unpin.
Yep. And the others.
Rifle platoon in front of them. They unpin as well.
Cool.
Alright, Canadian movement step. They positioned for potential assault. The Vickers remain stationary so they can get their maximum firepower into the guys on the hill. Mortars are remaining stationary to potentially bombard. 1 6-pounder failed to cross out of the boat, and the other 2 moved up. That second rifle platoon there, they shifted across so that they can not be danger close to that bombardment and allowing that to fire again. And also to potentially assault that 100mm nest. And 3rd platoon occupied the monastery in order to potentially assault the assault mortars. So we're going to go on to the shooting.
Okay.
Alright, not, again, the most successful Canadian shooting phase, but some progress was made. Not really anybody killed, but the naval bombardment and the mortar teams were able to shoot down on top of the Bredas and the rifle teams.
Oh, they did take out one, the naval did, didn't it?
Oh yeah, the naval did kill one of the command teams.
Yeah.
I think that was the only thing he actually killed.
I think so.
But they're all pinned there, so... The Vickers shot in, unfortunately failing to kill anybody with some hot Italian dice rolling. The rifle platoon, 1st platoon, shot the Bredas, also not killing anything. 2nd platoon shot the nest, getting a few hits, but failed to capitalize on it. And 3rd platoon shot the assault mortars, and thankfully the bulletproof cover of the walls saved them. So we're going to do some assaults and be right back. Okay, Allied assault phase, turn 4. We charged into the Bredas, killing 1 and forcing the other one back finally. That 2nd platoon charged the nest, and you've seen what happened. 3rd platoon cleared the assault mortars and have occupied the objective. So I'm going to move on to Italian, turn 4, and see if they can even move fast enough to get within 4 inches of the objective.
Yep.
So we'll be right back. Alright, motivation step, turn 4. So we're going to unpin the Beretta. Nope. With the commander reroll. Still no. Unpin the rifle platoon there. It unpins. And that's the only other unpin unit. So last stand on that Beretta. Nope. It runs away.
Okay.
And then we're going to move into movement. Okay, in a desperate attempt to hold on to this objective for at least another turn before my rifle platoon can make it up, I move my 47mm guns forward. Over here, the coastal defense platoon, what's left of it, fell back so that at least the artillery has to be rearranged in, hopefully. And then we're going to try and do as much damage this turn as we can.
All right.
Shooting. Alright, so we started once again with the artillery. Battery A, direct fired into them because it no longer had anything under its token, but failed to hit. Battery B repeated, hitting 1 Vickers, killing it, and pinning down the platoon. The 81mm mortars hit 1 mortar over here, but did not kill it, but still pinned them down. The Carcanos in that coastal defense platoon, they shot across, killing a single team. And the 47mm, it split its fire between both platoon in the objective and the platoon here, hitting 1 there, but didn't kill anybody.
Right. And
that will be the end of the Italian turn 4, going into Canadian turn 6.
5.
Yes, I can count.
Yes. Sorry.
Canadian starting step. Gonna unpin. Which one do you want to do first? Mortars or
start with the one closer to you, yeah.
Vickers?
Vickers.
Okay.
Nope.
They stay pinned. And the mortars.
They unpin.
Okay. On to movement. Okay, Okay, take us through your movement step.
Okay, so first platoon consolidated up, hoping to take out that final big gun, or
Nest.
yeah, second final, I guess, because there's another one there. I forgot that one's there. To try and take out that nest. Second platoon has come up to help take on your anti-tank guns and hold this.
Yeah, they remain stationary, and they're not going to shoot the stern, so they can go to ground.
Yep.
In the off chance that you fail to rout that gun platoon, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's the movement step. I'm going to go on to shooting.
Yep.
This may be the last turn.
We'll see.
Okay, shooting phase. So, Bree shot with the depleted first platoon into the nest, hitting with everything, but unfortunately not able to kill me with the firepowers needed. The mortars ranged in there on the third attempt, splashing an infantry team and pinning down the unit. Over there, we got 4 hits from the second platoon on the 47 millimeters, but again, unfortunately failed to kill. And third platoon opted to not shoot in order to get that gun to ground bonus. So Bree is going to assault with second platoon, and we'll be back with the result. All right, and in the assault, she was able to kill 3 of the 4 guns just with her dice rolling, and the other one failed to counterattack, so he fell back. That leaves Bree starting within 4 inches of an objective and ending the turn with me outside of 4 inches of the objective. So that is an Allied victory in the first beach landing of Operation Husky.
Woo-hoo.
Moving on to the debrief. So, I mean, beach landings are fun.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
I love playing the defender. I mean, last time I played the attacker, so I know how fun that was. But,
You had very well placed minefields and like barbed wire. I really had to tap dance to get around them.
I did try. I did make a set enough for all 3 coastal defense platoons until I realized I can only bring 1 because of reserves. So I made like 10 discs too many at the moment. But whatever.
We'll have them for next time.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I don't know. That was fun. The Italian coastal defense troops, though, they would suck. They're so bad. I don't like it, but they're still so bad.
Yeah,
It's almost like playing Eastern Front Spur Band Grenadiers.
Yeah.
Just actually, they're still better because they have some of the more energies. This was an interesting experience. We'll put it that way. So thank you so much for watching our first of the Sicily campaign videos. We have a lot more to come. We're going to have General Patton here running the American troops. We got General Montgomery here running the British. I'm running the Italians and the Germans. I can't remember the general names right now. But yay. Yeah.
Keep an eye out for upcoming Crafting Corner videos doing mountains and harbors and such for this campaign, along with a few other things, hopefully. As long as work doesn't eat my entire soul. But yeah.
So if you want to stay up to date as much as possible and you want to interact with us, in real time, as close as we can with instant messaging, check below for the invite to our Discord. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you love the videos and want to see more, like and subscribe somewhere on the screen. I think somewhere down
there or up here.
And I'll put a little button in the top left or the top right for the subscriptions. So do that, and we will see you soon. So we're pulling for you guys. So keep your sticks on the ice.
Take care.